We will be engaging Amaechi Agbo, managing editor, Best Choice Sports, a sports journalist, on still paying tributes to Christian Chukwu. On this time around, we shall be having a general discussion around national heroes and the way that Nigeria as a state regard them. Amaechi, if you're standing by, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being on the show this night.
All right, Christian Chukwu, a Nigerian football player and a coach, a defender in his playing days, who captained the Nigerian national team. And it was on record that that particular move helped Nigeria win Africa Cup of Nations for the first time ever. I need you to pass us through some of his other achievements. You remember, okay, you rightly know that he is known as chairman, and I want to believe that that is for a reason. Why would he be considered a national hero, in your own opinion?
I think Christian Chukwu is more than a national hero. Um, he is everything anybody can attribute to him in terms of his pedigree and what he did for this country. He was the first captain to lift the Africa Cup of Nations in our own self here in Lagos in the year 1980. Interestingly, he started his football career in 1972 and he blossomed. Um, he did not only win that trophy with the then Green Eagles, now Super Eagles, he also went ahead as a coach, assistant coach though, to win the under 16 World Cup, now under 17 World Cup for the first time for an African country, for the first time for Nigeria as an assistant coach. After leading the Super Eagles, Green Eagles, then to the 1980 Nations Cup. Prior, they won the tournament second best, two times runner-up, winning silver in those occasions. And winning the trophy in 1980 in Lagos, beating Algeria by 3 goals to 0, is a historic moment. I do not think that anybody that talks about Nigerian history in football can forget it even in a hurry. So, apart from that, he also captained the Enugu Rangers. Rangers is the only club he played for. He didn't play for any other club apart from Rangers in a career that spanned for almost 20 years. So I think he is not just a hero, he is a national icon, he is a legend. And do not also forget that he led the national team to win the bronze medal in the 2004 Africa Cup of Nations. Um, and also at a point twice he managed Rangers and he did well with them. So I think every accolade, everything coming to him as a chairman. Of course, for you to be a chairman, it means you are a leader, you are a pragmatic leader. So because of his leadership attributes, the way he motivates and carries the players along in his playing days, that's why they named him Christian Chukwu. If you also remember, um, when Stephen Keshi was alive and his own way of playing, they described him as the boss. The boss in the sense that he doesn't take nonsense and he wants every result to be achieved at the end of the day. So every individual, particularly players, are regarded based on the way they carry themselves, their leadership, pragmatism, and the rest of them. So Chairman Christian Chukwu deserves everything. He is not just a national icon; he is a national legend and a hero, for that matter.
A hero, you said. A hero is no braver than an ordinary person, but he is just brave 5 minutes longer. As a sports journalist, you would have uh, perchance heard or even talked to the man, and some of his challenges would have been shared. Do you know if he had any challenges in his rise to becoming who he became before he passed?
Yeah, I interviewed Chukwu in 2022, but that was about a 15 minutes interview. Um, there was a striking interview statement he made during that interview. He said that while he was on national assignment, I think that was in 1982 or something. Yes, 1982 when he married, that his wedding was fixed while he was away on national assignment, and because he was aware, his younger brother had to go to deputize for him for his wedding. I do not know who who else can do that in this present day, this nation. So he was on a national assignment, and his wedding was taking place within the in his hometown in Enugu. Mind you, the wedding was fixed ahead of time, so it now clashed with a national duty, and for the sake of the nation and for the sake of what he loves doing, he had to forfeit his wedding day, and off he went to national assignment. So I think also he mentioned that, and he said I think also the other regret he has as a man is the fact that not uncharacteristically the Nigerian Football Federation is owing him, and it is very unfortunate. He made mention of that to me during that interview, and also
But the
during an
body already denied that. They said they weren't owing him.
NFF is good in doing that. I am saying this with certainty because apart from that, he also granted interview with sister station Prime Sports in April last year, where he said that the NFF are still owing him, and NFF denied, of course, that they were owing him $128,000. That should be about 205 or 6 million naira currently, if you are to exchange that with the current naira dollar rate in the transfer market or whatever. NF, of course, would deny, but I am also aware that the federation is owing a plethora of coaches who have tried their best, assistant coaches, chief coaches, and the rest of them, technical advisor. When Stephen Keshi died, NFF was owing him. When Amadou Shuaibu died, NFF was owing him. So, and at the end of the day, because these men are no more, including Christian Chukwu, who is going to dig the files, who is going to do the investigation, of course, they're going to throw everything to the dustbin. So they will come out to deny, but the fact remains that NFF is owing Christian Chukwu, and posterity will judge them.
Um, so, in what ways do you believe Christian Chukwu's contribution have influenced Nigeria's national identity pride in terms of sports?
Of course, winning the Africa Cup of Nations in 1980 brought Nigeria's image to the global limelight in terms of sports, particularly football. And also, when you saw the team that qualified for our first World Cup tournament in USA in 1994, it was a build up from what happened in that 1980 set, because they were also majority of them, of course, featured with the national team at that level. And I think from that moment, Nigeria's ascendancy in international football became a global identity for the country. And also, he coached the under 16, then now under 17, for Golden Eagles in 1985-86. Then he also went ahead to coach Kenyan national team between 1998 and 2003. So one could understand perfectly well that to a larger extent, he is not just a national hero or icon, but he is an ambassador ambassador for Nigeria in terms of promoting her image globally. And then do not forget that qualifying for the World Cup in 1994 was, I think, a great turning point in the history of Nigerian football. And from there, Nigeria has become a dreaded nation, even though currently we have been crawling instead of flying like a Super Eagles we used to.
And that probably could have posed a concern to him before he passed. You mentioned a number of past coaches, especially demised ones who are still being indicted by NFF. And I don't know if that is a picture of how we as a nation treat people who have contributed to the growth and the pride of the nation.
Obviously, and I don't want to sound a little biased, but if you are conversant with what is going on at the National Nigerian Football Federation, particularly, you will understand that there is a tendency. First and foremost, they don't regard the indigenous coaches. They don't have a flair for them. They do not have a respect for them. If you recall, in 2013, when Nigeria won the Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa, Stephen Keshi resigned from his position while in South Africa. Everybody was celebrating here in Nigeria the victory, but he resigned because prior to our quarter-final match against Cote d'Ivoire, the Nigerian Football Federation had gone ahead to book our ticket for return flight. In other words, NFF believed that Nigeria will not beat Ivory Coast, and so they did that. And then at the end of the day, we beat them 2-1. So it goes a long way to tell you how much they value indigenous coaches. And indigenous coaches have done pretty well for this country. Stephen Keshi won the Nations Cup as a player, a captain, and a coach. And Nigeria indigenous coaches also won the under 17 World Cup 5 times, the most successful country at that level. We've won it 5 times through indigenous coaches. The last person was Emmanuel Amuneke in 2015, and I think since that 2015 we've not qualified for the under 17 World Cup, which means that a lot of things need to be questioned. Now, also, I think in 2022 or 2021, during the time of Ahmadu Pinika as the NFF president, the NFF made it categorically clear that coaches, assistant coaches in the national team are not going to be paid salary, that they will only be paid match bonuses and the rest of them. Only the head coaches are going to be paid. And of course, many of us who are raised eyebrow over this decision, because it is not only going to breed corruption, nepotism, and the rest of them, it is also going to undermine the integrity of our selection processes, particularly at the cadet level. So, ab initio, NFF doesn't treat our indigenous coaches with the respect they deserve, because they feel that they do not have anything to offer, even though they have much to offer.
Now, Amaechi, if he was not recognized while he was here, I was checking to see if he had any kind of national honor, but there's nothing recorded against his person. So how best do you think he can be recognized by Nigerian government, even posthumously?
Well, I do not know. As I said earlier, I was trying to avoid a statement of bias here, but I think at this point I need to be open and sincere. We also what is going on at the National Assembly concerning the move by Southeast senators from Eastern extraction for the immortalization of former INEC chairman Professor Humphrey Nwosu, now late. Christian Chukwu is an Igbo man. Christian Chukwu is an Igbo man. I do not know. I just having this sentiment because maybe his name is an issue or whatever. Because I recall then that when they won the Africa Cup of Nations in 1980, the then President Shehu Shagari made promises, gave them houses, I think land, I can't remember, but they were given a housing gift as a kind of reward for their effort. But I recall that the Super Eagles that came second at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, we are given landed property and the national honor, what is it called, MON, Member of the Order of Niger, and the rest of them. For coming second, they were heavily rewarded. The first people that won the nation's continental diadem in 1980 were nowhere to be found. Which triumph is more historic? Even the achievement of World Cup qualification in 1994, even the winning of the Africa Cup of Nations in 1994 as well as 2013, you cannot compare it to what happened as at 1980. And this man captaining the team and then later coaching the team as well has not been given the fair share he deserves in terms of national recognition. Maybe his name is his undoing.
Okay. Um, I don't know if you had just said, well, let's just conclude by having your own say about national heroes generally, not just the person of Christian Chukwu. Are we doing enough, really?
The answer is no. The answer is no because we need to celebrate our icons. There are individuals who are doing marvelously well. There are teachers who are doing extraordinary things, building the national leader, the future leaders of this country. There are athletes who are propelling the image of this country in their various sporting activities. There are engineers who are trying to build this nation. There are politicians, of course, various leaders across all sectors of our economy, trying in one way or the other to build the nation. So every individual has a critical role to play in building this nation, and it is the responsibility of the government to once in a while recognize these people without sentiment. But then, um, when you do these honors and then you attach sentiment or parochial interest into it, then it becomes an issue. Because I want to believe that if Christian Chukwu had happened to be someone outside the extraction of the southeastern region, maybe he would have been honored by today. So I think they should go extra mile to recognize individuals, not when they are dead, but when they are living, so that the award will have much impact and meaning to younger generations for them to know that when you do your best and work hard in your own career, you would also be recognized nationally.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.